Portions of this video may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. You have been warned.
Hi, everybody. I'm James, and welcome back to Storytime with James. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. All right, this one's called Dantae, the Don Pimpin. Yes, look, back in the day, I had a cousin named Dantae. His name was Dantae, but people called him Don Pimpin. I don't know. Well, Dantae, at the time, I was 6 years old and Dantae was 11. I looked up to him. I really looked up to Dantae. I want to hang with him every time I got a chance. But at, uh, at first, they lived in the projects. They lived in the Robert Taylor home projects where we used to play out there. They didn't have the gratings on the banisters at that time. Like the greatness would can hinder somebody from trying to jump out or try to climb over because it was 13 stories. They were 13 stories high, and when it gets up high, they have the gratings on there. But at the time, they didn't have them on there. And I, we witnessed somebody throw a refrigerator off maybe the 12th floor, and it crashed on the ground out down there, cracked the concrete. You can imagine if one of us was down there and it fell on them. But these people, they didn't have a care about throwing something over or whatever, you know. So they were there in the projects. A little 2 bedroom apartment, and it was like 7 of them, you know. Well, 8 with my aunt. So after a while, they had to move from there. I don't know what the circumstances were, but they had to move. And they moved into an apartment on the south side. Uh yeah, on the south side of Chicago. That the whole thing was the project was on the south side, but this was a little east of the projects, so and this apartment was in very bad shape. It was almost abandoned, abandoned apartment. It was like 3 stories. Yeah, 3 stories high, and it was apartments on this side, this side, this side, this side, that. So it had like 6 apartments in there, and I don't think but 2 were occupied. The rest were abandoned. So we would go over there sometimes, and we would run in the abandoned apartments and have you and stuff like that. Well, Don, at the time, I was green. I was really green. I didn't know nothing. You know, Nothing about the streets, nothing about the hood, nothing about the ghetto, or nothing. But Don knew. Don was a product of the streets. Yes. Yeah. Don would Don would eat the lead off the paint and off the walls. He put that in his mouth and chew it like chips. And my mom said, "Don't ever put none of that in your mouth. Never do that. If you do it, I'm gonna tear your butt up. Don't ever do that." So I didn't do it, but Don would chew on this stuff like potato chips, and it was you can purely see that it was lead paint, you know, and lead paint could cause a lot of problems. But Don would have these seizures. I think he was born with having seizures and stuff like that. So every now and then he would fall out, start shaking and stuff like that. And at first it scared me, but he used to jump up every time after he finished having a seizure. He would jump up like nothing happened, dust himself off, and then finish doing what he was doing. It was unreal. But I vaguely remember their apartment, but it had plenty of rats and roaches and mice. And I'm talking about they would run out freely when you walked through their apartment. They would come running across. Big rats, big roaches. They were they were being overran by roaches and rats. They had a picture on the wall. You moved the picture. They was in the shape of the frame. The roaches. So it was crazy. And Don would sometimes feed the rats. He would feed them. He would say, and see, they would eat oatmeal in the morning, oatmeal and bread, or toast or something like that. I didn't eat it because I don't like oatmeal, so I didn't eat none of it. But they had oatmeal, and he would feed the rats, and they would come to him too. They would get on their hind feet and eat it. I don't know, man. Anyway, the place was in bad condition. All right, it was in real bad condition. They were on the verge of getting put out of there too. So man, they was in bad condition. Well, anyway, Don turned out to be a bad seed. Yes. So one day we went to the corner store. We went to the corner store. It wasn't like on the corner. It wasn't actually on the corner. It was like a long way. It was like 2 blocks, but one block was apartments on this side, and all the way at the end was this little store. We walked in there one evening, and Don walked in there. Me and Don walked in there, and Don said, "Watch this." And I was green, like I told you, I was green. So I told him, I said, "Okay, okay." And he pulled a gun from a pow from his shirt. And I was shocked, but it wasn't a real gun. It was like a toy cap gun or something. He pulled it out, and he pulled off the robbery. He robbed them. So they gave him the money that was in the register, and he said, "Let's run, run, run." And I just started running, and we got away. We got away. And Don said, "That's the way you do it. That's the way you do it." I said, "Man, what in the world?" So he said, "Don't tell nobody." But I told my mom, and she told me don't hang with him no more. But I I stuck. I was sneaking and hang with him anyway because like I said, I looked up to him. You know. Anyway, one day he stole a car. Yes, he stole a car, and he joyrided around the neighborhood. Joyriding around, joyriding around, and then the police got after him. The police got after him, and he was driving and driving and driving, trying to get away from the police, and then he ended up crashing. He crashed and got caught, and they sent him to jail. Matter of fact, they sent him to jail for 2 years because then they found out about the robbery too. So he got 2 years in jail. When he got out, he was bigger and badder, you know. So when he got out, he would do some crazy antics around his neighborhood. He would beat people up and everything. So I stopped hanging around him. You know, I stopped hanging around him because he would get into fights and everything like that. And sometimes he'd be walking and they just have a seizure. He would have a seizure. I think he took medicine for it. I think he had epilepsy. So he would take medicine for it. But sometimes he wouldn't take his medicine and it would come on him and he would fall out. So after that, he was doing some of everything out there. Then he started trying to pimp women. That's where the pimping come from. Don Pimpin. But he it was crazy because the women that he tried to pimp, they were uh, drugs. They was on drugs and everything like that. So later on, Don ended up taking another car. This time he carjacked some people. So he was riding around again, and the police got on after him. He was driving again, driving around, and then he ended up crashing again. But this time he didn't come out of it because he had a seizure, a grand mal seizure, a grand seizure. So I'm talking about this one was bad, you know, and they couldn't send him to jail because he was no longer alive, you know. So yep, that was crazy, man. But Don used to do this stuff. I don't know what was wrong. I don't know if it was something with him eating that lead or whatever what happened to him. But what would make somebody do something like he was doing? He did more than that, much more than that. I'm telling you because, but I choose not to say. But it was crazy. But I do miss him though. I do miss him. He was a good cousin, you know. Sometimes we would talk about stuff, and he was cool then to me. But I was green then, so I didn't know about what was going on. So man, I'm telling you, if you got a family member like this, or a cousin, or a friend, it'll be to your benefit not to hang around them. Because if I knew what I know now, I would never hang with him, you know, because he was a loose cannon, you know, and people that are loose cannons, they they're up to no good, you know, and if you with them, you'll be inadvertently caught up in something. Like I could have been easily been in one of the cars with him when he stole a car, or but and I was if we were running out of the store, somebody could have easily come up on us and pow 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 pow. I don't know, but he was taller than me, so he didn't look like he was 11 years old. But when he crashed this last time, I was 13 and he was 19. So he was much older than me, you know, like 4 years older than me. So I don't know. Well, like I say, R.I.P. Dantae. You know, yes. Mm. All right, you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And hit that bell notification. Hit that bell notification so that you know every time I drop another video. Yes. and share, share, share. Share my videos with your family. Share my videos with your friends. Share my videos with your loved ones. And even share with your enemies. Okay. Peace. Adios. Salamat.